Thank you very much. Let's get started with some updated contact information for the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles, or the BMV. The BMV has full-time employees that work in the dealer licensing section in Columbus. The employees of the dealer licensing section are an encyclopedia of dealer knowledge, and their full-time job is to help you maintain compliance. They're going to be able to answer any questions that you have, and they're also going to process your initial application. Throughout the dealer course, we will cover all the paperwork that you need to complete when you apply for your dealer license. And I want to give you their contact information. That's going to be the Dealer and Salesperson Licensing Section, P.O. Box 16521 in Columbus, 43216. You can also call the dealer licensing section directly at 752-7636. And they even have a special email address for you. It's dealersupport@dps.ohio.gov. And the official website for the dealer licensing section, which I will refer to several times throughout the course, is ohioautodealers.com. Once again, that is ohioautodealers.com. And I will take you to that website several times throughout the course. And on that website, you can download all the forms that you need to run your new business. You're going to be able to order temporary tags, which we're going to cover here in just a little while. You'll be able to order your titles. And I'm going to show you how to do everything in your dealer training course. And we will refer back to that website several times throughout the course. In Unit 1 of your dealer training course, I'm going to show you all the steps that are needed to obtain an Ohio used motor vehicle dealer license. I'm going to show you how to submit your dealer application. I'm going to talk about your electronic fingerprinting requirement, your building and display lot requirements, your dealer surety bond, your sign and photograph requirement, hours and records, net worth, and I'm going to show you how to easily obtain your vendor number. We'll talk about registering your business with the Ohio Secretary of State, your I-9 employment eligibility form. Also, I'm going to show you how to obtain your federal employment identification number, your dealer course, and then your lot inspection. One of the steps involved in obtaining a dealer's license is to actually apply for your license. And we do have a whole unit where we're going to cover the application process extensively so you can apply for your dealer license in the correct manner, which should expedite the approval so you can get your dealer's license back from the state as soon as possible and get your new business started as soon as possible. All dealer license applications must now be submitted online. The BMV no longer accepts mailed-in dealer license applications. You must apply online. And we're going to complete that application process together here in just a little bit. And after you finish this unit, we're going to go to their website, ohioautodealers.com, and I'm going to show you how to easily apply for the license. Electronic fingerprinting. Here very soon, you're going to be handling very large financial transactions. And many of the vehicles that you sell will be worth several thousands of dollars. And when you become a dealer, you will have complete oversight over these very large financial transactions. So before the BMV issues your dealer license, they want to make sure that you've never been involved in any type of motor vehicle crimes. You know, the state does not want to give a dealer's license to someone that stole a car or somebody that rolled back odometers. They require us dealers to be of a higher level of ethical standards than the average person that's walking down the street. And they definitely don't want to issue a dealer's license to somebody that was managing some nationwide auto theft ring. So you will have to be electronically fingerprinted before you are granted your dealer's license. When you get your fingerprints done, the tech taking your fingerprints is going to ask you where you want your results. You will need to have them direct copy BMV dealer licensing, and they will automatically send the results to the dealer licensing section. The tech will also ask you if you want BCI or FBI or both. We only need BCI. That's the state's Bureau of Criminal Investigations. So don't pay for the FBI side. We just need BCI. So all of us probably live within 5 minutes of a fingerprint location. But if you're not sure where you can obtain your fingerprints, you can go to the Attorney General's website at ohioattorneygeneral.gov. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on the link that says Web Check Locations. And on this page, you can just enter your home zip code, and you'll see several fingerprint locations close to you. And as you can see here, it shows pricing for BCI, FBI, or both. Remember, You're just going to need BCI for your fingerprints, and this shows the BMV that you didn't just get out of prison for robbing a bank. So please keep that in mind. Your business building requirement. You must have a business building in order to obtain a dealer's license. The state does not issue any type of cloud-based or virtual dealer's license. You must be located in a bricks and mortar building. The building you use for your dealer's license must be zoned to operate a dealership. The state requires all buildings meet local zoning requirements. You can call your city hall, your county courthouse, and normally ask for the planning and zoning office. Tell them the address of the building that you would like to have your dealer license located at, and they'll look up zoning, and they'll tell you either yes, you can have a dealer's license at that location, or no, you cannot. It is very important that the building that you're using meets local zoning. I know persons that have purchased a building to start a dealership only to find out later the building was not zoned to allow a dealership. So before you lease, rent, or purchase a building, you must ensure that it is zoned correctly and allows the operation of a motor vehicle dealership. The building must have an office with at least 100 square feet with walls that go from the floor to the ceiling. And state law requires the office has at least one desk, 3 chairs, and 1 filing cabinet. I want to repeat that. State law requires that you have at least 1 desk, 3 chairs, and 1 filing cabinet. State law also requires that your office have adequate electrical service, lighting, permanent heat, and some type of ventilation. The state wants to make sure that you have a safe retail office area that is conducive for completing motor vehicle transactions. They do not want you completing paperwork with a customer in a garage next to some car up on a jack. The state also wants to make sure that your office never becomes a storage area. They do not want you storing tires and batteries and fenders and transmissions in your office. It must be a safe place for you to complete motor vehicle transactions. You also need an official dealership phone. If you want, you can have a landline phone running into your office, or you can use that cell phone you have in your pocket. But whatever phone you're using is your official dealership phone, it must be answered in the dealership name. On the building, you must post your hours of operation, and you must post your phone number as well. The state wants to make sure that you're accessible to your customers, whether they have questions about a vehicle they want to purchase or questions about a vehicle they've already purchased. So you need to be accessible to your customers, and that's why you must post your contact information on your building. So make sure your building is zoned correctly. Make sure you have an office with at least 180 square feet. Make sure you have a desk, 3 chairs, and at least 1 filing cabinet. And be sure to post your hours and phone number on the building. Your display lot. You must have a display lot to show your vehicles that you're selling, and your display lot must be the same address as your building. You must have at least a 3,500 square foot lot. The lot can be on the exterior of the building or the interior of the building, or a combination of both. So let's say, for example, you might have 1,000 square feet inside the building and 2,500 square feet on the outside of the building. That would meet the minimum requirement. The state wants to make sure your customer parking has physical separation from any other neighboring customer's business parking as well. The BMV does not want a neighboring business's customer accidentally parking on your display lot, and then someone comes along thinking that vehicle's for sale. That's actually confusion the BMV wants you to avoid. So you must have what's known as physical separation between your lot and any other customer parking. So what is physical separation? Physical separation could be curbing, landscaping, wood, metal, support cable. You could have 2 posts and a couple of buckets with a metal cable in between to meet the physical separation requirements as well. The BMV also wants to make sure that you keep your retail vehicles separate from your wholesale vehicles. Your retail vehicles are the vehicles that you have prepped and ready to sell to retail customers on your lot. And a wholesale vehicle could be a vehicle that you've taken on trade and you're just going to sell it at the dealer auction. It is also important to know that all of your retail sales activity must take place only on your lot. So what do I mean by this? Right now, you probably do not have a dealer's license, so you can take your car and put a for sale sign on it and park it at the Walmart parking lot next to the road, until the Walmart until the Walmart manager runs you off. But when you have a dealer's license, All of your sales activity must take place at your licensed location. So let's just say your lot is on the north side of Columbus and you have somebody that found your vehicle online and they want you to bring it to downtown Columbus to show it. You can never do that. That's what's known as off-site retail sales activity, which is a violation of state law. I think that you're going to have to explain to some of your customers that state law does not allow that. So they will have to come to take a look at the vehicle right there on the lot. Now, how do you stay compliant with that law when you're handling internet transactions? Because I'm assuming that maybe you might sell all of your vehicles online. Well, let me explain how to comply. Let's say, for example, you've got a lady from Dallas, Texas that found a truck that you have for sale on autotrader.com and she wants to buy it. Well, that's fine. You're just going to need to submit all the paperwork that I'm going to show you here in a little bit to her, and she's going to need to mail you back all the signed paperwork plus the payment for that vehicle. Once you've received all the paperwork and the payment for the vehicle, that shows that vehicle was sold on site. Then you can ship or even deliver that vehicle to that lady in Dallas as long as you can prove the paperwork was completed and the payment received before shipping or delivering the vehicle. What you could not do is, say, for example, meet this woman at some truck stop in Oklahoma City and complete the paperwork and take payment there. That would be an illegal off-site transaction. So it is imperative that you comply with this law. Off-site retail sales activity is never allowed. Your dealer surety bond requirement. You must obtain a $25,000 dealer surety bond before you apply for your dealer's license. Is a $25,000 dealer surety bond going to cost you $25,000? No, of course not. A dealer surety bond is based on credit score. So with good credit, a dealer surety bond in the amount of $25,000 should cost around $200 to $300 per year. If you do have a couple of blemishes on your credit score, the price of your dealer bond could increase dramatically. You're required to hold a dealer surety bond to ensure that you operate your dealership with the highest level of ethical standards. And I want to explain when a dealer surety bond could come into the operation of your dealership. Let's say, for example, some old school, unethical guy was able to get through the background check and was able to obtain a dealer's license. And let's say this old school, unethical guy sold 3 cars with defective transmissions and did not disclose those defects. Well, this dealer has broken multiple state and federal laws. You can never sell a vehicle that has mechanical defects that you are aware of without disclosing the defects in writing. And I'll show you a form you can do that on here in just a little while. So let's say this dealer sold these 3 defective transmission vehicles, and within a day or two, those customers are probably going to realize they've been duped, and they're going to hire an attorney, and more than likely, they're going to sue that dealer. Well, if a dealer is ever convicted of any type of fraudulent sales activity, they can easily have their dealer license revoked permanently. So let's say this dealer has had his dealer's license revoked. Maybe he has no lot. He might be bankrupt without a penny to his name now. Well, how do these previous customers seek financial recourse? No matter how broke the dealer is, the customer can get a $25,000 claim on the dealer surety bond. So the dealer surety bonds protects customers from unethical dealers and ensures that you operate your dealership with the highest level of ethical standards. If I can give you a little bit of great advice here, when you're selling a vehicle on your lot, be sure you disclose every detail of the vehicle and every mechanical defect that you're aware of. You might tell the customer something like, hey, I was driving this car the other day. I heard some noise in the rear end. I also felt like I was pulling to the left a little bit. And before you take a test drive, I want you to be aware of this dent here in the back left fender. If you disclose everything that you know about the vehicle before the test drive, you're going to see some magical things happen with your new business. You're going to get a lot of repeat customers. You will have entire families that will only purchase vehicles from you because they trust you. You're going to get great reviews online. And, many of your customers will read those great reviews before they come onto the lot, and they're going to be ready to buy. And studies have actually shown that a customer will pay more for a vehicle when they're dealing with a dealer they trust. Your customer will trust much more of an investment with you, the honest, ethical dealer, than they do that crooked dealer down the street that's lying to every single person that comes to the door. Operating your dealership with the highest level of ethical standards will ensure your repeat business from customers. You're going to get great online reviews. Your profits will be much, much higher. You're going to sleep great at night, and nobody's going to sue your bond because you didn't disclose that defective transmission that you were aware of. I've seen it time and time again. Honesty and integrity will take you to the very top of this industry profit-wise. So be sure to give full disclosure on all your vehicles. Now, most of the paperwork that you're going to complete will be submitted directly to the dealer licensing section in Columbus, with the exception of your original dealer surety bond. You're going to need to mail your original dealer surety bond to the Ohio Attorney General Consumer Protection Unit at 30 East Broad Street, 14th floor in Columbus, 43215. At the end of the course, I'm going to go down a checklist to ensure that all your required documents are sent to the correct locations. Once again, your original dealer surety bond must be sent to the Ohio Attorney General's office. Your business sign. The BMV wants to make sure your building is identified as a dealership, so you need to have a permanent sign created that you must display on your building. State law requires that you have your entire registered name or any fictitious name or trade names on the sign in letters that are at least 6 inches high or larger. So your entire registered name must be displayed. So let's say, for example, your dealership's registered name is Ohio Motors LLC, doing business as Columbus Car Sales. You must have Ohio Motors LLC, doing business as Columbus Car Sales, in at least 6 inches high or larger letters. So make sure you've got your entire registered name in at least 6 inches high or larger letters. And don't forget, you must post your hours and phone number as well, but there's no size requirement on the hours and phone number, only on the registered business name. Business photographs. You must submit photographs of your dealership before you are granted a dealer's license. The BMV wants to know what your operations look like, so you must submit photographs of your display lot, the physical barriers that show separation of the business and parking from any other business's parking, the inside and outside of the office, the sign with your registered business name, your posted hours, and your posted phone number. And then the BMV wants you to step across the street and take a picture of your entire operations from across the street. Now, you can submit these photographs directly to the BMV, or if you want to, go ahead and email them to dealersupport@dps.ohio.gov. You can do that as well. But if you're emailing your photos, you must include your dealership name and the county that your dealership is located in the subject line. If you don't include the dealership name and the county, the BMV will not be able to locate your photographs, since they do receive thousands of emails a day. So don't forget your photographs. This is a dealer licensing requirement, and I'll show you how to submit those in a little bit when we actually apply for the license. Business hours. You must maintain official business hours when you have an Ohio dealer's license. You're going to post your official hours on the front of the building. You will also enter your official hours on the online dealer application that I'll show you in a few moments, and these will be your official hours that are on record. You must staff your dealership correctly during the official hours of operation. During your hours, you must be staffed by either an owner, a partner, or a licensed salesperson. And I want to repeat that very important information. You must be staffed by either an owner, partner, or a licensed salesperson. You cannot say, for example, leave the dealership staffed by a mechanic while you go to the dealer auction for a few hours, unless, of course, your mechanic has a salesperson's license. The dealership must be staffed during your posted hours. You may be at the dealership more than the posted hours, but the dealership cannot be staffed less than the posted hours. If you ever want to change your hours of operation, let's say the first round of hours are not working out for you, you can change your hours, but you would need to update the signage on your building to reflect the new hours, take a picture of the new hours, and also submit that photograph to the BMV with your new hours within 15 days. Remember, state law requires dealers to be staffed during your official hours, either by an owner, partner, or a licensed salesperson. Records. Document, document, document. Every piece of paperwork that comes across your desk will be maintained in your records. The most important piece of office equipment that you're going to need with your dealer's license is a scanner, copy machine. If you have a piece of paper that relates to the operation of your dealership, you will never throw it away. You're going to make a copy of it and keep it for a minimum of 3 years. And here in just a little while, I'm going to show you odometer disclosure statements, electronic title applications, and some federal forms. Those forms must be kept for a minimum of 5 years. So you are going to be starting a huge paper trail with your new business. If you ever close the dealership, which I don't think you will, you must keep all records at least 3 years after you close. The reason I say I don't believe that you're going to close the business is because this can be a very lucrative business, and you're going to find that out very soon. The main reason I see dealers go out of business is because they got into too much debt. Here very soon, I can almost assure you, when you walk into your first dealer auction, the salesperson will welcome you with open arms. They're going to offer you some coffee and donuts, and then they're going to offer you what is known as a floor plan. A floor plan is a loan for the vehicles that you have on your lot. Your lot is sometimes referred to as a floor. So a floor plan is a loan for the vehicles on your floor. And I can almost guarantee you can walk into any dealer auction, complete a little bit of paperwork, and easily obtain a $250,000 floor plan. A floor plan is just like a credit card. So you always need to remember that, because floor plans kill dealers every day. On more than one occasion, I've helped someone like you get their dealer's license, and I'll drive by their dealership they just opened, and I'll see 50 cars on the lot with balloons flying all over the place, salespersons talking to customers, and then I'll drive by a few weeks later, and that lot is empty, and there's a for lease sign in the window. There's normally only one reason for this. The dealer was not able to pay the floor plan and went out of business. Nothing against dealer auctions, but they have nothing to lose by giving you a floor plan. And if you do not pay on a floor plan, the dealer auction can simply repossess your entire inventory and then sell the vehicles next week in the next dealer auction to some other dealer that just got their first floor plan. Floor plans kill dealers every day. And I don't want to discourage you from obtaining floor plan. Just keep your floor plan manageable. And when you sell a vehicle, play down your floor plan, and you should have a goal to have a cash inventory, which means you owe nothing on your inventory, which is going to lead to higher profits for your new business because you're not paying any interest on any floor plan. So do please keep that in mind. Net worth. In order to obtain a dealer's license, the net worth of the business must be at least $75,000. Now, how can you have a net worth of a business when you have not even opened the business yet? Well, if you're the only person on the dealer license, then your net worth must be at least $75,000. If you have two persons on the dealer license, then their combined net worth must equal at least $75,000. So maybe you're worth $50,000 and your partner is worth $25,000. Well, then the business would be worth at least $75,000. Let's say you have three persons on the license, and each of the person's net worth is at least $25,000, then the net worth of the business would be at least $75,000. Here in just a little bit, when we're completing that online dealer license application, you will be asked if the business is worth $75,000. Remember, you will only check yes if it is true. If you lie on your dealer license application, you could be charged with a misdemeanor. The only time the BMV would possibly require proof is, let's say, for example, you've declared bankruptcy, and they might require you to submit a financial disclosure statement at that time. But your business must maintain a net worth of at least $75,000 during your entire licensure period. Vendor's license. Later on in the course, we're going to run through the entire deal where we're going to go purchase a vehicle to resell all the way to the sale of the vehicle. And during this transaction, we will be charging sales tax on that vehicle. And I'm going to show you how to easily charge sales tax later on in your dealer training course. But before you can legally charge sales tax on the vehicles you sell, you must obtain a vendor's license. And I'm going to show you how to easily obtain your vendor's license online at the Ohio Business Gateway in just a little bit. But if for some reason you're not comfortable with that online process, you can obtain your vendor license at your county courthouse's auditor office. You can just go in your county's auditor office and normally pay a small fee and have your vendor's license on the spot. But I'm going to show you how you can avoid that trip to your auditor's office at the county courthouse. And together we're going to apply for our vendor license online later on very easily in your dealer training course. Registering your business with the Ohio Secretary of State. The Ohio Secretary of State is not only the state's leading election authority, they are also the main maintainer of business entities that are operating in Ohio. And they want a record of the dealership that you are getting ready to open. We have a whole section later on in the course where I'm going to show you how to easily register your business with the Ohio Secretary of State. But I want to make sure you have the phone number to the Secretary of State Corporations Division, and it's going to be 614-466-2655. You can actually register your business over the phone, but I'll show you how to do that online, which is a lot easier here in just a little bit. A very detailed process we'll cover extensively in your dealer training course. Your I-9 employment eligibility form. The state wants to make sure every person whose name appears on your dealer license and every future employee is in fact eligible to work in the United States. So you're going to need to complete what is known as an I-9 employment eligibility form for every person whose name appears on the license and each future employee. You can download this form at uscis.gov. You do not have to submit this form with your dealer license application, but you must store it in your records. This is the state of Ohio complying with federal requirements. So once again, that's uscis.gov. You'll need to complete this form for every person on the license and each future employee. You do not submit it with your dealer license application, but it will become part of your records. Federal Employment Identification Number. I'm going to make a very confident prediction here. I predict your income is going to increase dramatically within the next year. Having a dealer license can be very lucrative. And with that income increase, I guarantee you the federal government is going to want a little bit of that action when it comes to tax time. You're going to need to obtain a federal tax identification number, which is sometimes referred to as an employment number. And this is the number the federal government basically attaches to your new business that you're getting ready to start. You're also going to need this number to enter on the online dealer license application. I'm going to show you how to easily obtain your free federal tax ID number in the course in just a few moments. Your dealer class. Since 2016, the state has required persons to complete a 6-hour dealer training course before you can obtain your Ohio Used Motor Vehicle Dealer License. It's just like if you want to obtain a real estate license, that can be very lucrative. So the state requires you to take training before you can get a real estate license. If you want to get an insurance license, that can be very profitable. So you must take training before you obtain an insurance license. Normally, having a dealer's license can be extremely profitable. So the state requires you take training. The state does require that you complete your 6 hours before you can apply for the license. There currently is no continuing education requirement in the state. Many states require dealers to take 4 or 8 hours of continuing education either every year or every other year, but Ohio has no continuing education requirement. However, I want you to be aware, the official certificate of completion that you receive on the day you complete your dealer course is good for exactly 6 months from that date. So you'll need to complete all the steps that we talk about here and apply for your dealer's license within 6 months of the day that you complete the course. That's when you'll download that course certificate. Otherwise, that certificate will expire, and state law is very clear. You would need to take the entire 6-hour course again. I really want to encourage you to complete your pre-licensing steps and get that application to the state before your certificate expires. I think you're going to be very glad you're starting this very rewarding business. So this is where we are. We've completed all the steps I've just talked about. You submit the dealer application to the state, and you should receive your dealer's license in about 4 to 6 weeks. When you receive your dealer's license, you will be an officially licensed motor vehicle dealer. So you're going to be purchasing vehicles and reselling them on the lot, and you will begin your business operations. After you have received your dealer's license, you're going to undergo a real quick location inspection. After the license is issued, a BMV investigator will contact you to conduct your official lot inspection after you've got your dealer's license. They're going to make an appointment with you and will visit your dealership to ensure your compliance. They're going to make sure your lot is physically separated from any other customer parking. They're going to make sure that your hours and phone number are posted. They're going to make sure you have your sign with your entire registered business name in at least 6 inches high or larger letters. They're going to come into your office and measure it and make sure that it's at least 180 square feet as well. And if there are any changes that need to be made, they will certainly let you know about that. This will be a very, very informative inspection, and the BMV investigator will be a wealth of information for you if you have any questions whatsoever. I want you to be aware when you do get your dealer's license, you're required to display the license prominently. Dealer licenses expire on March 31st of every other year. So you want to make sure that you have submitted your paperwork well before the expiration date. Once again, all dealer licenses expire on March 31st every other year. So you must return the dealer renewal before the license expiration date, and you will need a separate license for each county that you're operating in.